Welcome to the new moon in Scorpio, arriving on November the 19th or 20th, depending on where you are in the world. And as you may have noticed by now, the new moons are arriving at the end of its zodiac season. So before we had the new moons at the beginning of the season, which was a nice introduction to the zodiac itself, to the season that we are in. But now the new moons are at the end, which kind of flips things around. But I'm going to tell you the story of Scorpio, Ophiuchus, and Sagittarius. Now, before we get into that part of the video, I want to remind you that these videos are for transformational purposes, to understand yourself deeper and to use the archetypes for your personal development, spiritual growth practice. And especially with these three archetypes we're going to focus on specifically, also being in Scorpio season, I will touch on that. Obviously, the new moon. There are going to be timestamps below where you can skip ahead at any time closer to the date to review some of the themes of this new moon, plus journal prompts for reflection and for intention settings. And then I'm going to also be offering a general reading looking at the energy of this new moon. And then, of course, for all signs afterwards. So timestamps are in the description area below. But let's get started into the archetype of Scorpio and this new moon. The interesting, very auspicious lineup of energy between this new moon and numerology, astrology, numerology, is we are in a traditional month 11. We're in a universal month number 2, and the week of the new moon is a week 11-2. I know this month is perfect in the way it's lining up, especially the full moon in Taurus that we had in a week 9. Now, as I record this video, we're coming out of the energy of the full moon in Taurus. Some of you may have had very strong emotions surfacing. Some of you may have had patterns on repeats or endings of very old cycles. So do pay attention to the endings of old cycles or what is repeating or has repeated during the full moon. So there are many people I spoke with during the full moon. There was a lot of anxiety, even anger, emotions. But myself, I had noticed a very strong theme that actually did relate to Taurus archetype. And it put me into a very common cycle and pattern that I have been experiencing for many years. So it allowed for me to see the pattern that I was in and slowly work on it, slowly allow for the pattern to dissolve through reflection, through attuning with my body, and paying attention to my own inner patterns and almost instinctual reflexes of going into some of the old response mechanisms that I have pertaining to that one particular issue in my life that I've had for a long time. As we taper down from the full moon, we're dropping right into the true essence and opportunity of the archetype of Scorpio and being in fixed energy. We can go really deep into some of these themes that may have surfaced during the full moon. So we're going to start to look at the full moon as what it offered us as far as illumination, as far as shining light on aspects of ourselves that we need to pay attention to. And then going into the zodiac season of how we can work with what has been illuminated for setting new intentions, for getting clear of the integration and the rebirth, especially in this case. So we're in Scorpio season, which is very strongly tied to the cycle of death and rebirth. Now, as I mentioned, the new moon is in a week 11-2. We're in a month 11-2, and we're in a universal month 2, right? So what it means is this new moon is very, very auspicious. This new moon can allow for you to deepen your relationship with your intuition, your senses, maybe even dreams based on your inner awareness, inner landscape. The 2 is very much connected to the moon, tied to our psyche, tied to the unconscious, tied to our emotions. So that week of the new moon in Scorpio can be very ethereal, can be very heightened with our senses. You may also feel the need to slow down and attune, pay attention, and connect. Right? So there's a lot of very, very strong visionary psychic energy that week as well. The theme of this new moon is going to be alchemy, transformation, and reclamation of truth, right? So we're looking at Now, the end of Scorpio season, coming out of the full moon in Taurus, where there was a lot of transformation for many of you out there, and moving into this new moon, we're going to have illumination now. We're going to have an ability to look at what has shifted, what have we realized during the full moon, and where do we want to go after this? That's going to lead us into Ophiuchus and then Sagittarius. But in traditional astrology, we're moving right into Sagittarius season on the 21st, immediately after this new moon. When we come out of Scorpio season, we're moving out of a time of deep transformation, deep realizations. This is the rise of the phoenix. We move into Sagittarius, which instills hope. We have maybe a new direction that has been illuminated. We have a new sense of self. We're ready to cultivate a pathway that aligns with our inner truth and authentic self based on what we have shed from our past, what we have let go of, what we have released. So this 3 archetypes here, if I throw in Ophiuchus in the middle, is going to be Scorpio, Ophiuchus, Sagittarius, if you want to look at that. But leading out of this new moon is going to offer a bit of a gateway or a little bit of an opportunity to pause and reflect and integrate what we have experienced during the month of November. Now, the date range for Ophiuchus is going to be between roughly the dates of November the 30th to December the 18th. I did already record a video on Ophiuchus, but I'm going to record another one as we move closer to the date and dive a little bit deeper into some of the archetypal traits that we can focus on for regeneration, for healing, and of course for integration. Integration needs its own practice, and in our culture we can bypass integration. We can move very quickly through it, wanting to jump into our old patterns, our old ways, wanting results really quickly. If we move right into Sagittarius season, that could propel our momentum forward as we're going to be moving into mutable energy after this new moon. And that does have an essence of propelling us forward. So Sagittarius is about forward moving momentum, moving towards our truth, the archer, the centaur with the archer pointing its arrow towards the truth. The season of Scorpio, unfortunately, we're already in it. We haven't been able to talk about the true essence and sink into this archetype fully and wholly because this new moon is kind of at the end of Scorpio season. But the true archetype in its higher polarity allows for us to connect with our deeper self. Scorpio mostly focuses on the inner self, very deep and introspective, very emotionally attuned, has a lot of depth to it, can dive into the deepest recesses of self and also of others. Scorpio also teaches us that death is essential for renewal and for change. This is going to help us with mastering the art of non-attachment. It also is going to teach us where we are holding on, where we are guarding ourselves, or even the fear of letting go, maybe a fear of failure, a fear of loss. Scorpio allows for us to face our shadow, to be free, to liberate. When we go deep within this work and explore the depths of the Scorpio archetype, the archetype within ourselves, we gain a lot of information, a lot of insight, and it leads us to awakenings. It leads us to that aha moment, that realization, and that release of patterns of the past. The most potent, powerful aspect of this archetype, I should mention also previously ruled by Mars, but the main planet of Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, is to navigate our depths and to not be afraid of questioning our deeper selves, the parts of ourselves that we are uncomfortable with, the topics that make us feel uneasy, the parts of ourselves that we may conceal and hide because of fear or shame. It invites us to question and to probe and to reflect on these areas within ourselves and also observe through humanity the patterns and relationships of one another. But Scorpio's ability to dive into the depths is truly about reaching our power, our inner truth, who we truly are. And that pushes us into Sagittarius season next, where all that information that we have obtained and that we have understood and dissected and learnt takes us into the pathway of truth. Right? So that's what's leading us out into Sagittarius season. Now, if you want to integrate Ophiuchus into this, Ophiuchus is going to be the serpent bearer, turning poison into medicine, where we can allow for some space for integration before we might move too fast moving into Sagittarius season. This allows for a little bit of a break, reprieve, a bit of time for introspection and to integrate what we have truly gained. And especially during this new moon, you can allow for insight to develop and clarity to develop based on what you have learned from the full moon in Taurus, bringing this into your practice to prepare for a new cycle. And this is leading us into 2026 in a universal year number 1. All right, so this is lining up perfectly. This is a gift from the universe. This is going to be the clarity that you can grab hold of and prepare for a completely new cycle as we move into a new year. Some of the key themes that will arise during this new moon will be letting your power return to purity, meeting death as initiation and not defeat, and holding the serpent of your own energy not as a threat, but as wisdom. Some of the key points for this new moon in Scorpio will be the power of surrender. At its highest form, Scorpio knows that transformation cannot be forced. The more we release control, the more the current of life carries us exactly where we're meant to be. The Scorpio archetype also teaches us depth over drama. The true Scorpio power comes from depth, not intensity. It feels profoundly, but processes wisely. It doesn't chase emotion for identity. Rather, it allows emotion to reveal truth. Another aspect is authentic vulnerability. The evolved Scorpio knows that transparency is liberation. Emotional honesty creates intimacy, and intimacy restores life force. Another aspect is the rebirth of trust. Scorpio teaches emotional discernment and attunement. Through the pain of betrayal, we learn self-trust and the ability to remain open-hearted while honoring intuition. Another is power as presence. When Scorpio integrates its lessons, power becomes magnetic rather than manipulative. Energy flows naturally through integrity. This is the power that heals through depth and alignment, not by force or domination. And then finally, the grace of endings. Scorpio's sacred purpose is death that leads to life. Every ending, when honored consciously, opens a new timeline of vitality and truth. Here are some journal prompts that you can integrate into your new moon practice. So remember, new moons offer a clean slate. We have a very, very beautiful new moon to think about also where we're going next. What is the next chapter in your life that's starting to emerge? And how do you want to use this new moon to set course for this new experience? For the new moon, you can also light a sage, clear the space after that big, massive full moon in Taurus. You can journal, of course, spend some time reflecting, meditation, visualize your future reality. Visualize yourself stepping into your future and visualize yourself embodying who you are in 2026, for example. Some journal prompt examples you can integrate into your new moon practice. Where can I surrender more deeply to the wisdom of change? How can I channel emotional intensity into depth and creativity? What truth am I ready to express to restore connection and power? How does trust in my life allow me to trust others without fear? And what ending am I ready to honor as the beginning of my next evolution? As we prepare to transition into the readings, there's going to be a general reading looking at the energy of this new moon, and then the all signs readings. Ophiuchus is added, and as I mentioned in the full moon in Taurus, anybody can look at Ophiuchus if you want to position it as where do you need to heal or what messages do you want to accept for your healing or transformative experience or journey. Now, those falling in the dates of Ophiuchus can definitely claim that as your second reading if you are also Sagittarius. But anybody can listen to the Ophiuchus or watch the Ophiuchus reading if you feel called to it. And as a close, this new moon is here for you to step into your power. And that is the backbone of my channel and of my work, the deep shadow work, this deep introspective opportunity that we have here to reclaim more of ourself. This work is all about returning to who you truly are without the patterns, without the weight, without aspects of yourself that are getting in the way or holding you back or weighing you down. And this is what the new moon is all about. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about opening yourself up more to who you are and to life itself. And think about Sagittarius season happening right after this new moon that will propel you forward in some kind of way. So I'm wishing you all the best during this beautiful new moon. Make it count. And until next time, I'll see you again soon, and take care. Okay, we are looking into now the new moon in Scorpio. And I think I'm going to start with the Seven Energies Oracle. So what I'm doing here is looking at the main energy of this new moon, and then the guidance here, which is the Royal You. It's the 16. Quieting the mind. Number 32 is the main energy within the Seven Energies Oracle. I have the Tarot and the Moon Oracle, Moonology Oracle underneath. But the main message here, I'm just looking at some other cards. We have Burst of Magic that came through at the bottom of the deck as well. I feel from this message here, we're obviously, I think you may know, we're in Mercury retrograde. We have, I think, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn retrograde as well, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a little while since I've looked into everything, but quieting the mind right now, it's either going to be guidance or what you may feel drawn to or what might be offered. It's almost as if I feel there's a gap. It's like kind of like the calm before the storm in a way, but not as in it has to be a storm on the other side. But I feel there's a moment here where there may be stillness. There may be, after the full moon in Taurus, a moment of pause, a moment of recalibration, a moment of going in. There may be stillness, because Burst of Magic here also is the epiphany. And it really is the week of the new moon, as we are also going to be in an 11 week, in an 11th month. So, and a universal month number 2. And it's all about the inner vision, intuition, senses, having our inner sight awakened. So you may naturally be drawn to this. You may feel a pull towards this, or it may just naturally provide a space for all of us to really connect. These cards actually together are quite nice. So you can see the channel of light moving in from the top, the crown, right? So the energy coming down and through. And so the burst of magic is the epiphany, it's the aha, it's the realization. So there could be a lot of that naturally flowing through in the week of the new moon. Be very aware, keep your channels open. I want to say, trust your intuition most importantly. Be aware of fear overriding your intuition and fear coming in any kind of way, because that also is a part of the Scorpionic archetype, is where we can tend to hang on to what has felt familiar, and it overrides our higher wisdom and the connection with our higher self. And there could even be a little bit of that inner interplay, navigating these two aspects within ourself, our truth versus our fear, our higher self versus our fear. And I feel there's going to be this opening, this opportunity here to awaken a greater vision, a greater sense of self, and inner knowing, and maybe even being able to be more discerning with your inner landscape, within trusting yourself or the wisdom that you are uncovering or that you're connecting with. Now, this is the guidance, is the Royal You. This is about being sovereign. The Royal You is 16. 16 is a karmic debt number. It's a fall of the ego. I'll throw this out there because this is actually a really good story that weaves in, intertwines with this particular symbology and the number. So 16, Tower card, fall of the ego, death of the ego, and then this symbol of the crown, royalty. It's sovereign, but sovereign based on our alignment with our true self, with our inner purity, our inner power. And when we're free of the fears and free of the personas that we need to construct, or that we need to keep alive in some kind of way to have ourselves be presented in the fashion that we are desiring, the way that we are desiring, or the way that we're used to presenting ourselves, or how we feel it's acceptable in the environment or in society. But this is coming true to your roots, being sovereign and being royal, the royal you, without the ego, without the need to pretend, the need to push, the need to perform, the need to, what's the word I'm looking for? The need to appear in a way, again, based on societal expectations, external validation. This is showing up for you, being in your royal essence of your authenticity, void of the ego, death of the ego. So if you can even exercise that during this new moon, you can bring it into your new moon intentions of who are you moving into a new cycle, embodying your sovereign self, embodying your highest version, embodying your truth, your essence, your purity. And that's your power. That's your power. And that's what the Scorpio archetype teaches us, is how to embody, excuse me, our power, void of the ego, void of our fear, void of all of these false beliefs that we have that guard us, protect us, and prevent us from being our true, authentic self. So that's part of the guidance there. Let's go into the moon cards. So the main message here for the new moon is your commitment is being tested. We're in fixed energy. Remember, this fixed season can squeeze us in certain ways, especially if you like movement, if you like answers, that can be driven by fear. So your commitment is being tested. If you're wanting results, if you're wanting change, check in to see if there is fear behind it with the relationship, behind the actual maybe unease. Now, the Hermit came in reverse. If you know my readings, if you're familiar with them, I don't read reversals. I do read them, but I'm just a little bit OCD, so I have my cards upright, but I look at challenge positions. But the deck was upside down. I'm going to honor it. The Hermit came in as a reverse and 10 of Pentacles. So commitment is being tested. There might be a resistance to go in and to sink into this fixed energy. We're also, by the time of this new moon, we're also approaching Sagittarius. The sun in Sagittarius is going to be on the 21st, I believe. And it's right, this new season is right around the corner. So there may be even a little bit of restlessness, feeling that you want to now move out, that you want to explore, that you want to experience new things. You might even have been waiting for something for a long time and chomping at the bit. And this new moon, it's like, in a way, I feel it's kind of squeezing this last little bit of these old, it's an opportunity to, I should say, reframe this. It's an opportunity to squeeze out the old fears of that cause impatience, that cause resistance. So there's always a fear under the surface that causes the resistance that we have within ourselves when thinking of different areas of our life that we're navigating. So there's a resistance here to going within. Your commitment is being tested, but there's like an avoidance, or there's like, let's go, come on. I want things to move along. And it has something to do with home, finances, career, next level. This definitely could have been triggered during the full moon in Taurus. Taurus being also related with our value, with our worth, with abundance. And if we are in our lower polarity within ourselves, operating out of our shadow, our value, our sense of worth, even our physical self could have been challenged in some kind of way. And so sometimes we push through to try to get things back in order, to try to have things figured out, to sort things out. And I feel there's a energy here that be very careful of it, because we're also in this retrograde season, if you want to call it that, where it's the time to look back. It is a time to be very aware of the patterns that are arising, any changes that need to be made, any releasing that needs to occur, so that you can set yourself up for success in the future, so that you're not repeating similar patterns, so that you're not going back into the familiar. But there may be a pull in some kind of way to go back, or to want to basically even move forward and forget about the work. So just be aware of that, because I feel there's a bit of this angst that's coming in with this new moon, overlapping almost with Sagittarius season, where there can be a bit of, wanting to rush forward, but just make sure that you're not missing anything. Make sure that you're not missing the opportunity for your own inner work and introspection, and giving your time to go in, dedicating a little bit of time a day, or when you feel like you need it, to check in with your body and check in with yourself and check in with your inner practice and your senses, especially. That's going to be very important, and it's going to help you, is setting you up for success in some kind of way. Okay, it's like it's a very fine line. It could be your demise, or it can be your path to success. So just maybe be aware of that if it resonates with you. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Now, this is in the shadow. This is hidden information. Lovers, Eight of Pentacles here. The end of a tough cycle approaches. You have Capricorn, Gemini coming through. This is in the unseen. There is something lining up. Look at all the pentacle energy coming in. I feel it had something to do with the full moon in Taurus. I know this is a general reading, so I'm trying to keep it more general, but I feel the full moon in Taurus could have, for some of you out there, maybe a main theme in some kind of way. It's tilting you towards a new opportunity with financial. It could be your value, your sense of worth, what you're building in the material world. And there's something happening in the background that you might not be able to see, or you're building something and you're not quite seeing the results of it just yet. Or maybe you've had a taste of it. Maybe you've had a bit of insight. There could be frustration with it. There could also be what feels to be a setback, but it's not. There's a redirection and correction happening with all this retrograde energy coming through, especially to do with finances, career, and what you're building. It could have something to do with the body as well. The end of a tough cycle approaches. So it basically is saying here that the end of a tough cycle approaches. Try not to put pressure on yourself. Try not to work extra hard because you feel like what you're experiencing is not going in your favor. Be very careful where your mind goes and the patterns that are being exposed right now, especially after that full moon, to do with finances, career, even the body, the physical, your material, your even home, the material, home, finances, body, etc. You have a lot of earth coming through here. And I feel that's what has been activated during that full moon again. So something's still in the works, something's still finding its way. Like I said, there's something for some of you that you might not be able to see, but it is working. And actually, I feel that it's almost like, you see, this hermit is in the challenge position, it's in the reversal, and it's like information is hidden, or you're not seeing, or something. It's very scorpionic, where there may be a new perception required, or for you to go deeper into yourself to see a hidden piece of information or a truth or something that, again, if our unconscious comes in and prevents us from seeing the truth, we won't see it. And there's something hidden. It has something to do with the lovers. And I feel that this isn't necessarily relationship, although it can be if it resonates with you, claim it if it does. But I feel this has something to do, again, with that full moon in Taurus, self-worth, and your value, your sense of self. So there's like I said, a recalibration that's happening here. And it's at the I can't even articulate this, but I'm like, it's coming in too fast. And sometimes I have a problem with this. So just please bear with me. Sometimes the energy and the information comes in so lightning fast, I can't even articulate it. Like I'm consciously trying to slow down so I can get the message out clearly enough. But you're at the center of this all. The full moon was teaching us to reconnect with our value and our self-worth and what we value in relationships, our career. And actually, I want to even say really focusing on our self-worth and the value of self at the forefront or within the center of it, and everything else starting to respond and starting to find its way as a mirror and a reflection of this. And that's what's happening in the unseen right now. That's in the shadow. And that's what is going on. It's a recalibration, a readjustment that's starting to take form right now. Okay, so we have your guidance is you're very close to achieving your goal. Gibbous moon. This is right before a full moon. So you're very close to achieving your goal. So like I said, look at this. The end of a tough cycle approaches. You're very close to achieving your goal. These two are lined up so perfectly in their meaning. So the guidance is you're very close to achieving your goal. So don't push, and be very mindful of, again, the patterns, the emotions, the thoughts that are surfacing. Be very mindful of your money. Try to save without hoarding or without clinging, like grasping. There's there's an opportunity here, or there has been, especially during the full moon, to reassess and to work on your value, your self-worth, that's going to ripple out into lack and scarcity, or to readjust and to heal lack and scarcity if this resonates with you. So you're very close to achieving your goal. Don't hang on too tightly and try not to hold on to the past. Very scorpionic, very Tauran, if it's Tauran, I don't even know if that's really how you pronounce it. But you can help move this in a simpler, easier way moving forward by loosening the grip and letting go of what didn't work or patterns of the past. Scorpio, very emotionally protective, guarded, holding on to a grudge, holding on to resentment, fear of repeating something, fear of failure because of something that happened in the past. I'll be very cautious of that, because this new moon in Scorpio can bring us back into our old patterns, or it can calibrate us forward. It can give us that boost to transmutation and to the higher expression of ourself, into our power. Now, the outcome of what's going to be arising after the full moon, a fiery climax approaches Aries, then you have the Two of Swords and the Page of Cups. This is head versus heart. That's coming in. Moving into Sagittarius, even Ophiuchus, if you want to use Ophiuchus in here as the progression of healing and integration, there's going to be here a moment to be very cautious and even to navigate matters of the mind versus heart. And it's going to, the foundation of it is your spirit. It's your passion. That's underground. And that's becoming unearthed. That's becoming awakened in some kind of way, Aries. There's a push. Like, you may feel it may come in externally. It may happen from within yourself, but there's a fiery push that's happening here, moving us out of this new moon into Sagittarius. But I do feel there's an opportunity here to really manage or even heal the relationship, restore, bring in balance of the mind versus the heart. The heart knows. See, the heart is open, Page of Cups. The mind is blocked, but the mind holds, it creates a standstill. It creates a block, a stop, overthinking, ruminating, stagnation. In this case, I feel this is what these two are signaling. But I feel this one is the heart is open. And so there's going to be a moment here after the new moon where it'll be very important to listen to your heart, and to keep your heart open, and to listen to your higher self, to not fall back. And you may be tested. There may be moments here of testing, going back retrograde. I think we'll be out of Mercury retrograde by this, but no, by the end of November, I mean. It's going to be, I think, at the very end of November is Mercury moving out of retrograde. Yeah. So, or I should say moving direct. I think I may have termed it wrong. I don't know. But essentially, this here is an invitation to connect with your higher self, your purity, your heart, creativity, and to listen softly. You also have, to end this, the animal oracle number 51, which is be playful. Be playful for the animal oracle, sandpiper spirit, to bring play into this energy here. I don't feel as overly serious, but there are some key messages here that are available for you if it resonates. All right, so I'm going to go into the all signs reading next. Again, I'm going to add in Ophiuchus. You can look at Ophiuchus as a point for or a message for healing, transformation, transmutation, integration. So whatever you want to put your attention to, or your intention, I should say, intention towards, you can use that reading to help offer a little bit more guidance. All right, see you over there. Okay, we are looking into the all signs, starting with Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, look at this. Woof. Wow. The end of a tough cycle approaches, Magician and the Fool. Now, this is your new moon. It's your season. Happy birthday, by the way, if I never mentioned it before. But look at this. This is beautiful energy. You're going to have an end and a beginning happen at the same time, and a relief, like a sigh of relief. You've put in the effort. You've done the work. The end of a tough cycle approaches. That could be what's happening in the unseen. If you caught the general reading before, this was in the unseen aspect. So you might not see where your ending is starting to wrap up. You might, I would say, look for it and definitely give it some attention, because this is your opportunity to take the leap of faith, to listen to your heart, to follow your intuition, to manifest. Okay, so this is big energy here. Yeah, definitely door opener. Honor what you've gone through. Give it grace, give it, what's the word I'm looking for? Attention. And then the Magician and the Fool is welcoming in a new chapter, welcoming in, putting your intention where you want to put your focus towards what you want to create, what you want to manifest, and allowing yourself to trust it, to take that leap of faith, to believe in yourself. Very, very nice message there. Okay, so we're looking at Ophiuchus. Again, this can be seen as a wild card for anyone who wants to claim the message. This is the healer. This is the serpent bearer coming out of transformation. Now look at this, new moon in Scorpio. Ophiuchus, the constellation of Ophiuchus stands on top of the scorpion. So it basically is standing right on top of the scorpion. So this is very fitting as well. This work through your fears, even considering this message to be, what do you need to transmute during this new moon and after, for you to break a pattern, for you to heal from the past, for you to let go, for you to believe in yourself, maybe even in a way honoring your intuition more, honoring your spiritual gifts more, honoring your inner guidance more, maybe even practicing like rituals, deepening that essence of yourself. I read a really interesting, I'm reading a book right now, which is taking me forever to read this one for some reason, but it's the Tibetan Book of the Living and Dying. It's not the official Tibetan Book of the Living, Tibetan Book of the Dying, but it's in a kind of like an interpretation of it, plus a lot of other information, which is really amazing. And the gentleman who wrote the book, the Rinpoche, had mentioned we live in a society that doesn't support sacredness, that doesn't support enlightenment. We are in a time right now where we get to honor our sacred selves, where we get to return to the sacred relationship of self, of spirituality, of our essence, of our inner knowing, of wisdom. So I feel this is exactly what this message here is saying, something around don't get in your way, or it could even be saying, where are you getting in the way? Where are you blocking your gifts and your talents? And how can you show up more in the true essence of your deeper self? So working through your fears to awaken more of your high priestess, to let that out, to let it shine, to not be to not second guess yourself or devalue yourself or slink back and hide, to fully embody this essence of the high priestess within. Sagittarius, hold your vision. Knight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. Yeah, this is all about you staying on track for what you want to build and create in the physical realm, career, finances, building something, network, relationships, like to do with your work though, mostly, or what you want to build. Your season is coming up next, and I feel that you're going to be entering the season very grounded. So there's something here of a very grounded, committed, practical energy where you're not giving up on what you want. You're not giving up on some kind of reward or some kind of project or outcome. And also you're going to have the support you needed. You're going to have the support you need in order to get to where you want to go. So hold your vision. You may be tested, maybe there's a little bit of those little lessons coming through here, but there's a really nice building of something occurring here. Okay, we have Capricorn. Luck is on your side. Sagittarius. You have the Five of Cups and the Five of Swords. Ooh, 2 5s. Big change coming in. Oh yeah, this new moon for Capricorn is about change. However, there may be something. It's going to be one of 2 messages. One, either the message here is to be very careful of not holding on to something of the past or clinging or being too nostalgic where it's preventing you from moving forward. There may be some kind of healing a relationship or fixing something where it could have been confrontational to the point of it could be a relationship or it could be within yourself, a lot of angst, a lot of inner fighting, inner turmoil, frustration, anxiousness, feeling reactive. Luck is on your side. There's something changing this dynamic here within yourself or within another relationship, but it's going to be imperative for you to process what has happened so you can move on, so that you can have a new opening, new adventure. So there's something here that could be old. Now this is very scorpionic again, holding on to the familiar, holding on to, again, what didn't work, what hasn't worked, inner conflict, relationships, turmoil, feeling feisty. There could be a bit of a challenge here, or this is the opportunity to change something so that you can have a new opening, so that you can have freedom. All right, Aquarius. Time to give rather than take. Oh, 2 of Cups with the Hangman. Nice. Time to give rather than take. Excuse me. Some of you may be welcoming in a very, very harmonious relationship. Now, this could be a work relationship. This is going to be like soulmate-y type of relationship. Perfect partnership. Could be work. Could be, I feel it's more on the work side. A time to give rather than take. I mean, it could be a relationship like family or romantic. But I mean, it could also be reflective of relationships in your life, like meaningful relationships. There's something really nice coming together here. And a time to give rather than take is a new opportunity that's being unearthed or that's being revealed to give back to humanity some way, to help people, to be of service. And you're having an awakening moment. You're having a realization about this new dynamic coming in, very specific. And if this resonates, you'll know exactly what that is, because it's a very specific read. Again, a partnership of any kind that is going to open up a whole new chapter for you. And use the new moon as well for setting intentions, to do with the Scorpio archetype, for setting the stage for that one. Okay, we're looking at Pisces. Your commitment is being tested. The Chariot, Six of Cups. Well, with Pisces, there could be some nostalgia happening here. Scorpio, Pisces energy. Yeah, there could be, you have a Chariot, Cancer coming through, a lot of water, Six of Cups. Could be a past relationship, could be family. I feel that your commitment is being tested to do with maybe family, to do with a sibling, to do with maybe a memory of the past that's holding you back. You know, it could even be something that happened to you or something around you that has created a chain of events that is leading to the present moment. Somehow, it's like testing you. There's a block in some kind of way. It could be internal, it could be external. But I feel there's part of you ready to go. Like you're ready to go, or the message is saying that it's time to go. But your commitment is being tested. It's like, how much do you want to either heal a relationship, bring it together? This could even be your child self for some of you, but I feel there's part of you ready to go and you're wanting to go. There's just something kind of holding you back, a memory, um, something that might need to be healed as well, that's preventing you from fully going forward, moving forward, fully bringing things into balance. Emotionally, internally, your commitment is being tested. It has something to do with the emotions, with a memory, with I feel for some it's a person. I feel it's like a relationship, family, something very close, very tender. It could be within child self as well. It's going to be, yeah, maybe even think of child healing. What can set you free during this new moon, using maybe the prompts that were given as well to align with a new opportunity, because you have the Chariot backing you up, which is movement. It is movement, but I feel there might be a bit of a push and pull with the emotions on it. Okay, Aries. Oh, the reverse, the Hermit. Adjustments are required, Eight of Cups, and the reverse Hermit that I didn't put back into its upright position, but um, I don't take anything either for granted, or I do not dismiss, I should say, the messages that come through. So adjustments are required. Using this new moon to make adjustments, leaving something behind emotionally. Now, the emotions, it can be within a person, relationship, or within yourself. An emotional pattern, an emotional reaction. This reverse Hermit is, there's a part of you that's not wanting to see something, like you're avoiding. You might even be walking away to avoid something, to avoid going deeper within yourself, maybe. On the flip side, for some of you, you could be very internal, where you're not wanting to go out, but I feel it's almost like the backs are turned. It's like, I don't want to face something. Like I want to walk away from my inner truth, or someone, or a relationship, or something. So there's an avoidance of, I feel it's an avoidance of self on this one. That's kind of what I'm feeling with this. There's a not wanting to, maybe you want to take a break from inner work, not wanting to face something. It could be an unconscious response, if that's resonating with you. Okay, Taurus. A win-win outcome in forecast, just justice. You have double Libra here. A win-win outcome in forecast, Three of Swords, justice. Well, it's almost like, I feel you really badly want balance to be restored in your life. Now, it could be with a person, it could be in general. I feel for a lot, I feel the energy is kind of big, in all honesty. So it could be something bigger in your life where you're wanting justice, and justice, I mean, as in you're wanting clarity, you're wanting answers, you're wanting things to improve, you're wanting balance to be restored, you're wanting to shut down an old chapter in some kind of way to have balance restored. Like something is really out of balance here. And we just had your full moon. So maybe things were really disrupted in order for you to look at the areas that need to be acknowledged for recalibration, for balance to be restored in some way. So there has been a hit to the heart, or some kind of disappointment, turmoil, difficulty So the door from the past hasn't closed yet for you to have balance restored, or maybe you're working on it. Maybe that's the signal here during the new moon, is to look at where your scales are imbalanced, yeah. Where you're imbalanced, like where are things so like out of whack? Where are you maybe pushing too hard, not resting enough? Could be imbalances in any kind of way. You'll probably know what this is because I feel it's a pretty big message. And I do feel it got really exasperated during the full moon. So you could be processing it still, but something needs to close. Like an old chapter, an old door needs to be closed so another door can open, and so that you can have balance restored and justice in some kind of way. Even if you're dealing with anything legal, contractual, work related, something that I'll leave it with you, but I feel there's an opportunity here to have the scales restored, but it's going to require you to make it happen. Okay, so for Gemini, looking at the bigger picture, Death and Queen of Pentacles, there's something here. Okay, look at your bigger picture, right? Look at the bigger picture, Sagittarius here. If you are feeling that there's a loss of some kind, it's not a loss. There's something that has to die off. There's something that has to be as a cycle that's ending in some kind of way. And I feel it has something to do, maybe for some of you, with your finances, with your self-worth, with even your health. Where there's an old cycle that's concluding and a new one is being reborn, a new one is being established here, where you're grounding and you're feeling more rooted, or this is the result, what you're getting of death, from death here, but it could be bringing up some things in the process. So I feel like you're moving towards more financial stability, security, even healthier choices. Investing your finances in a wise way. You could have learned some lessons and now you're integrating them. You're being smarter, taking your time through things. But there has been a shift, that like a big change, maybe in your career, maybe work, maybe your value. Again, could be physical self, but look at the bigger picture is the main message here of to see what has been unfolding for you over the last while, like, and where is it taking you? Do you see what's happening for you in the greater landscape? Okay, Cancer. Well, you get the new moon in Cancer, so congratulations. You and your loved ones are safe. So it's about your home. Maybe there's a new home, a new family settling in, a new flavor. Oh gosh, I don't even know if that's the right word. A new experience, a new harmony, like something's harmonizing with your family, close relationships, your loved ones. For some of you, you could have a new home, you could be moving. There's definitely success here. Some of you may even be experiencing public recognition that is giving you a new opportunity to do with your home, to do with what you love. It could be even what you're creating, something that's very, very near and dear to you. The Five of Pentacles this is perception. So there may be a moment here where you might feel like you're doubting yourself, or you may feel like things are moving really slow, or maybe there's a feeling, a sensation of lack or scarcity, but there is a victory here. Things are moving in a very positive direction, but you might find yourself being tested. So remember, we're concluding the Scorpio season here with this new moon, and it could be squeezing something out here of like, hey, what do you need to really pay attention to set yourself up for success and for movement and for an easier path forward? So there might be a little bit of this going back and revisiting some old perceptions, attachments, lack, scarcity, fear, which would be at the foundation of it. Leo. A time for healing, Four of Cups, Lovers, a time for healing during this new moon in Scorpio. It's very healing for you. Things are going to move a little bit slow at this time. I feel that you might be a little bit melancholy-ish, taking your time. You could be even reflecting on the past in some kind of way before maybe moving forward. For some of you, there definitely is a relationship here. I feel like you see this man sort of sitting alone, maybe even had a few drinks to wash his troubles away, or whatever it's called. Is it wash his troubles away? I can't remember how the saying goes, but the cup here, there's one cup full. And it's sort of like he's in a little bit of melancholy, sort of a little he's in a moment of reflection, and maybe just feeling into the emotions and giving a time for pause. And the lovers is right behind him, right by the cup. So it could be a reflection of you reflecting towards or back in the past of a relationship. Could be reflective of the full moon in Taurus, self-worth, your values as well, or more values, reconnecting or recalibrating, aligning with your values, to make some changes within, a time for healing, to do with a relationship. But I feel, the relationship could be any kind as well. It could be a business partner, it could be family, it could be love. But take it as it resonates here. This is a very soft, gentle energy and even dynamic that I'm feeling. And this person here, which is you, taking time to feel your way through, right? So not rushing, maybe reflecting back. I think there's good energy there. I feel like it's something that is, if it's resonating with you on the relationship front, I feel that it's going to move into a positive direction. I feel right now the time is, maybe you're going through more healing in order to strengthen a relationship or align you in some kind of way with a relationship. Virgo. Okay, Virgo, you have the answers you need are coming. Ace of Fire, Seven of Swords. Answers you need are coming. Virgo, you've been waiting for some word. You've been waiting for clarity, maybe a project. Things may have been on standstill while you're getting the break. You're getting your fire back. Seven of Swords, you may have lost trust in a situation. Things may have felt very scattered, disorganized, displaced. You may have felt very fragmented. Again, the answers you need are coming. Your passion's coming back, essentially, which is perfect. But there may be some cleaning up to do, like maybe things sort of fell apart, or maybe trust had been lost in a situation, but it's coming back. And I feel that it is going to allow you to clean up in some areas, or sort things out, maybe even regain your trust in some kind of way. And if you've been waiting on something, like if this is still in the works in the background, I feel like the passion that you're gaining is allowing for you to get ready in some kind of way. And Libra, finally, oh, you have the new moon in Gemini. Virgo have the full moon in Gemini. So I thought there were two cards stuck together. That one felt thick for some reason. Okay. Well, Libra, you have two major arcana. We just left your season. So communication is key. You get a brand new opening. You have a new moon with the star in Judgment. So this is a very big time for you. We're leaving your season, or we've left your season technically, but you still may be feeling, or you still may be processing what you've gone through what you went through during your season. So we have new opening to do with communication. It could come from something external, like a external opportunity, but it also could come from you initiating something. And I do feel that your stars are aligning. I feel that you're aligning with something of Aquarius here. Aligning with something very hopeful. I feel that you're starting to see your path. Like you're starting to see clearly about your direction. And some of you are going to have improved communication in some kind of way. You may have like communication bringing you closer together with other people, or closer to your goal. But you're really clear on it, and you're aligning. Like look at all the alignment, new moon, star, and Judgment moving up. Like you're rising into your next level. You're stepping into you're feeling reborn maybe. But also knowing now what you need to do, the change that you need to make within yourself, the change that you need to honor for you to continually keep rising and aligning with that star, your North Star. It's a really nice reading here for Libra. All right, I'm wishing you all the best, as always, for this new moon and beyond. Until next time, take care.